November 24th, 1971. A man walks into an airport carrying a briefcase. He buys one-way ticket. Nothing about him seems unusual. He's polite, well-dressed, calm, the kind of person you'd forget seeing 5 minutes later. But before the day is over, he'll hijack an airplane, demand $2,000 in ransom, and disappear into the night. More than 50 years later, nobody knows who he was. Nobody knows if he survived, and nobody has ever been charged. This is the mystery of D.B. Cooper. The story begins at Portland International Airport. A middle-aged man wearing a dark suit, white shirt, tie, and sunglasses purchased a ticket under the name Dan Cooper. His destination is Seattle. The flight is short, only about 30 minutes. After boarding Northwest Orient Flight 305, Cooper takes a seat near the back of the aircraft. At first, everything appears normal. The passengers settle in, the plane takes off, and nobody suspects that the history is about to be made. The hijacking. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper hands a note to the flight attendant named Florence Schaffer. At first, she assumes it's a phone number and slips it into her purse. Then, Cooper leans towards her and quietly says, "Miss, you'd better look at the note. I have a bomb." Inside the briefcase, Cooper reveals what appears to be 8 red cylinders connected by wires. Whether it was a real bomb remains unknown. But the threat is enough. Cooper calmly explained his demands: $2,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting in Seattle. He doesn't yell, he doesn't panic, he doesn't threaten the passengers. Instead, he sits quietly, drinks a bourbon and a soda, and waits. The FBI is notified. The authorities decide to cooperate. When the plane lands in Seattle, Cooper's demands are ready. The passengers are released safely. The money is delivered. The parachutes are delivered. At this point, Cooper could have escaped. But he isn't finished. Instead, he orders the pilot to go back into the air, this time heading towards Mexico City. Only the flight crew remains on board. Nobody knows what he plans to do next. As darkness falls, the plane flies through the heavy clouds over the Pacific Northwest. Somewhere over Washington State, Cooper prepares for what becomes one of the most famous disappearances in the history. Around 8 p.m., he straps on a parachute, takes money, and lowers the aircraft's rear staircase. The crew notices a sudden change in the pressure. The plane shakes, and then D.B. Cooper is gone. He has jumped from a moving Boeing 727 in a cold, stormy night carrying $200,000. No one sees him alive. No one sees where he lands, and no one ever hears from him again. The FBI launches one of the greatest investigations in the history. Agents searches forests, mountains, rivers, and remote wilderness. Nothing. No parachute, no body, no confirmed trace of Cooper. Hundreds of suspects are investigated. Some people confess. Others are accused. But every lead eventually falls apart. The mystery only grows. Then, nearly 9 years later, something unexpected happens. In 1980, a young boy named Brian is playing along the Columbia River. While digging in the sand, he discovers a bundle of decaying cash. The serial numbers match Cooper's ransom money. It is the first confirmed piece of evidence linked directly to the hijacker. But it creates more questions. How did the money got there? Did Cooper survive? Did he lose part of the ransom? Or did he shortly die after jumping? Nobody knows. Over the decades, countless theories have emerged. Some believe Cooper was an experienced military paratrooper who escaped successfully. Others argue that the jump was impossible. The weather was terrible, the terrain was dangerous, and Cooper had no proper equipment. Many investigators believe he likely died during the jump, yet no body has ever been found, and no suspects have ever been conclusively identified. The truth remains hidden somewhere between fact and legend. More than 50 years have passed since a man called himself Dan Cooper boarded Flight 305. He hijacked the plane, collected a fortune, jumped into the darkness, and vanished. Whether he survived or not remains one of the America's greatest unsolved mysteries. Perhaps D.B. Cooper died that night in the wilderness, or perhaps he landed safely, started a new life, and carried his secret to the grave. Whatever happened, one thing is certain. D.B. Cooper pulled off a crime so extraordinary that the world still is talking about it half a century later.